What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review for Marrying Millions, Season 2, Episode 8. Don't forget, Season 3 starts Wednesday. All right, we're wrapping this up. So, Bill and Bree. Let's start with Bill and Bree. So, Bill and Bree. Bree's mom is still living with them. Bill wakes up and he is walking around in his robe without his with just his drawers on. His robe is wide open. And Bree's mama is like, so, I mean, are you a little chilly or something? Like, you. He was like, what you talking about? She was like, I mean, your robe is open. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it. This is the part I'm like, come on, y'all doing too much. How you ain't know your robe was wide open and all you had on was your drawers in front of your girlfriend's mother when the night before you had a whole issue with her walking around with your robe on and hardly nothing on underneath? Like, come on, y'all, stop playing these games. But it's the morning, and he was like, my morning routine is very sacred to me, and she's interrupting it, and I'm not happy about it. Bree comes, so she wants coffee, so he makes the coffee for her. She complains about the coffee. Then she said something about wanting breakfast, and he was like, okay, well, if you want breakfast, you're going to have to make it. I don't know if she thought they had maids there or had a full-time cook or something, because she really thought she was about to get breakfast. So then she starts making breakfast, and she is literally coughing over the food. And he was like, Are you coughing over the eggs? She gonna say just your part. See, that's the kind of shit that ain't funny to me. Like, that's not funny to me. So then Bree comes down and he's telling Bree, did your mom tell you what happened with the dogs last night? And, so they talked about the dogs, having having some surprises down on the carpet. And Bree was like, I really think Bill is just overreacting. Like, our dogs have accidents too. Like, they were in a new environment. They were just it was an accident. So later on in the episode, Bill is working late, and Bree decides that she's going to invite her brother and her sister over to the house. So here's the thing, Bree, if you hadn't been doing stuff like this before your mama got there, then it is a lot at one time. That your mama's there with her two dogs. Now you're inviting your family over, which, yes, you have every right to invite your family over, but it's a lot at one time. Like, he's still getting used to your damn mama being a little special. Like, it's a lot to ask at one time. And so he comes home and he was like, okay. He was like, Bree, can I talk to you for a minute? And he was like, yo, so, I mean, I didn't know we were having a party tonight. And she was like, yeah, well, I thought you were working late. I just wanted to invite my brother and sister over. And he was like, listen, let's get your mother her own place. And then y'all can have all the get-togethers that y'all want over at your mama's house. It's clear that he just doesn't want a lot of people up in the house. And she was like, well, I thought this was our house. He was like, oh, did I say my house? My bad. But all I'm saying is, let's get your mama her own place, and then we don't have to worry about this. And she was like, I think you're being very unfair right now. Like, if this was your mother, I would be doing everything to help your mother feel comfortable. I really don't, I really am not happy about the way this whole situation is playing out. And so, it turned into a little argument with the two of them. So we'll see. She said, I can't believe Bill is trying to make me choose between my family and my, between him and my family right now. Like, I really don't believe he's doing that. So then we have Danny and Don. Don went out and started looking at wedding rings because his dad told him, he took heed to what his dad told him, and what he may have to do. I mean, as far as putting the cart before the horse, like, I guess I'm gonna have to ask her to marry me before we get into having babies and stuff. And he has his friend with him, like his best friend with him, and his best friend is like not really feeling it. You could tell he ain't crazy about Danny. And so the producers are like, well, do you think that she's a gold digger? And he was like, look, I ain't trying to say she a gold digger. I'm gonna say she got gold digger tendencies. She a little gold digger-esque. He said, I'm just saying, if Dawn didn't have no money, I don't know if she would be around. And I'm like, okay, I could see the concern. I could see the concern. So he was like, I'm not buying a ring today. I just want to kind of get some ideas for some rings, some, prices and what she would like and all of that. He's like, I'm still not quite there yet, but getting there kind of thing. And so later on in the episode, he sits down and he talks to her and he tells her that he may be ready to um propose. He may be ready to propose to her. And he says, and she said, well, have you talked to my dad? Because my dad has some reservations. Basically, her dad don't like him because her dad doesn't appreciate the fact that they were shacking up before they got married. Now, my thing is, it's real easy to always blame the guy about that, but she moved in. Like, she didn't have to move in. I mean, I get it that as a father, you don't appreciate the fact that this guy got your daughter, like, shacking up, but your daughter moved in. She didn't have to. She didn't have to move in. But she did. You know what I'm saying? And so she was telling him, like, you gonna have to talk to my daddy about this, cause you ain't really on his list of favorite people, and certainly he's not gonna appreciate if you propose to me without talking to him about it first. Then, speaking of asking for proposals without getting parents' permission, we have Erica and Rick. So Erica calls her dad to let her dad know that she's engaged, and her dad and her grandmother are not having it. They don't appreciate the fact that he did it without talking to them first and getting their permission. They don't like him at all, and they don't like the fact that she's marrying him. And her dad told her point blank, he was like, listen, if you decide to go through with this, we will not be there. I will not walk you down the aisle. And that's just a decision that you have to make. And so, of course, she was very upset by that. She was very upset by that. So later on in the episode, we see Rick talk to his son. And so I thought it was interesting. Remember I was saying in the last episode about a prenup and if he had children and stuff. And so he does have a son. And the son seemed to be pretty cool with the idea that, he was telling him that they got engaged. And he was like, so who's younger, my girlfriend or your fiance? And Erica is younger. And they joked about it and everything. So they seem to be in a really good place. You know what I'm saying? They seem to really be getting along or whatever. And the son seemed real cool. The son seemed real cool about it. He seemed real cool about it. So then we saw Erica talking to Rick, and she told Rick, she said, look, I'm not cool with this. Like, my dad said that he won't walk me down the aisle, that he won't come to the wedding. Like, I love my dad. Every girl dreams of their wedding day being their perfect day, and it won't be, if my father is not there. And she said, it just doesn't feel right to me right now. And she ends up giving Rick the ring back. And she was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I mean, I really do love Rick, but this just doesn't feel right. Like, just doesn't feel right. I was like, oh my goodness. So, child, then we have, then we have Katie and Kevin. Listen. Kevin meets Katie down on the ocean. Katie said, oh my goodness, I'm so glad that he's opening himself up and he's doing these things. I mean, before I would have never been able to get him to come down to the ocean and walk along the water with me. And I'm so happy he's agreed to do this for me. And Kevin is like, well, I got something to tell Katie and she ain't gonna like it. Baby, Kevin tells Katie that he moving to Vegas. He said, listen, I talked to my accountants and my lawyers, and they said that I have a better tax shelter if I move to Vegas. And so that is what we about to do, about to move to Vegas. And yes, I know that long distance is not, the most optimal thing, but, I care about her, and this is what it's going to be. Listen, Katie, listen. So she's upset. She's like, well, who makes these kind of decisions without talking to their significant other? Like, he just made this decision without me. He just decided that this is going to happen. He didn't ask me. He didn't ask my input. And so, of course, she was real upset by it. But listen, y'all barely getting along in the same city. What do you really think is going to look like long distance? Now, Vegas really ain't that far from San Diego. Like, it's really not. I mean, it's certainly not something you're going to drive at night. Oh, let me go see my boo tonight. It's definitely an overnight trip, at least, right? But it ain't that serious. But the problem is, he ain't that serious. Katie, he ain't the one. Move on, okay? And Kevin, I'm going to need you to get it together because you doing the most, too. Okay? Lord, okay. Rodney and Desiree. So Rodney and Desiree are having this romantic evening in the jacuzzi at the house. Desiree comes out in this bikini, this thong bikini. They got chocolate covered strawberries and wine or champagne or whatever they're drinking, and oh, they having a whole romantic evening and they kissing, which Lifetime, I don't never need to see that again. Ever. They kissing and tonguing and Rodney trying to convince her, come on, let's pretend like we married tonight. Come on, let me sleep with you tonight. Come on, let it happen tonight. And she's like, I want to, but I just ain't going out like that. I just can't go out like that. Like we not married, and I can't do that until I got a ring on my finger. So then she starts flashbacking and thinking about her, and they showing us scenes where her friends are basically telling her, girl, if he ain't getting it from you, he getting it from somewhere else. Like, y'all been together for 2 years, y'all are in a long distance relationship, so y'all already don't even see each other that much, and y'all are grown, okay? Y'all grown. Girl, if he ain't getting it from you, he is getting it, okay? And so she finally asked him, she said, have you been faithful to me? Child, why Rodney say no? Rodney said no. He said about 6 months ago, he had an affair with somebody. Notice he said somebody. I'm going to leave it at that. And it didn't really mean anything to him. Baby, she threw that wine in his face. She got up out that jacuzzi. And she rolled up out of there, honey, in that thong bikini. Now, once again, he did not chase her. He ain't get up out that damn jacuzzi. He ain't say, please come back. He ain't say, come on, Desiree, let's talk about it. Honey, he let her walk her happy ass in that house up them steps in her room and slam the door. Okay? So the next day, he comes knocking on the door, and he's like, you okay? You okay? And she was like, no, I'm not okay. And she's packing. And he talking about, so where you going? She was like, I'm going home. And he was like, was there anything I can do to help? You can take me to the airport. So he takes her to the airport, and the whole way there, he's talking about, I'm so sorry. It doesn't mean anything. I didn't mean to hurt you. What can I do to help? I hope this doesn't mean it's over. I really love her. I really, and, when she leaves at the airport, he was like, I guess that's probably the last time I'm going to see her. I said, y'all are really playing games with me. It's what y'all doing. Y'all are really playing games with me. But anyway, y'all, that was episode 8. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments, please.